Senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky in Ukraine, along with White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks for more on what's happening at this hour. Aaron, Ukrainian President Zelensky agreeing to send a delegation now to meet with Russian negotiators at the Belarus border, but he says he doubts there will be a diplomatic breakthrough. What more can you tell us at this point?
Well, I wonder if it's because of what you mentioned, that Vladimir Putin has been rattling the saber and putting his nuclear assets on higher alert. In that context, can there really be diplomacy? We're not sure, but Zelensky said a short while ago that he didn't want to be accused of not doing everything he can as the president of the country to try to stop the war. So he has agreed to send a delegation to the border with Belarus. The initial proposal was to have the talks in Minsk, but Zelensky said that would have been impossible because Belarus he views as an aggressor since it hosted Russian troops and since he says missiles have been fired from Belarus toward the capital of Kyiv. And indeed, we got word of one not long ago by one of the airports on the outskirts of Kyiv. So that the hope for a breakthrough, at least on the Ukrainian side of things, doesn't seem to be very good.
So, Mary Alice, let me take it to you then. How seriously is the administration taking this escalation, and what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to Putin and these nuclear threats?
Yeah, Kira, I think anytime you're talking about nuclear weapons, of course, people listen and they are taking it very seriously. The White House press secretary was on ABC's This Week this morning, though, and she said this looked like a pattern of behavior from Russian President Vladimir Putin that he has repeatedly during this crisis. These are her words now. I lost my notes, tried to manufacture threats that don't exist to justify further aggression. We also got some word from a U.S. defense official that said that any talk like this could potentially be putting in play more forces where there could be a miscalculation. That's the concern, is that if you put people in a high alert like this, you have room for error, and that could, of course, make things much more dangerous.
So, Aaron, a senior U.S. defense official is saying now that Russia's advance has been slowed by stiff resistance from Ukrainian forces. Is that what you're seeing and hearing?
At least so far, although the mayor of Kyiv not long ago conceded that the city remains surrounded by Russian troops. There's still about 30 kilometers or so, it's estimated, from the center of the city. The advance has been slowed, it's thought, by two factors. One, the sheer ferocity of the Ukrainian defense, which includes the military and all of these civilian soldiers that have been mobilized in the last couple of days. And the U.S. and the British also think that the Russians have been hampered by a lack of fuel and other logistical problems, not only in Kyiv, but mainly in Kharkiv, where there was an intense fight in the streets. And the Ukrainians said they've been able to maintain control of that eastern city, the country's second largest. The worry, though, Western defense officials say, is that the Russians can always learn from these mistakes, resupply, reinforce the troops. They've only unleashed about 2/3 of their combat power. They still have 1/3 in weight, and as one U.S. defense official put it, they have a lot of assets at their beck and call.
And Mary Alice, let's talk about what we mentioned up top, this developing news about energy giant BP saying it's pulling now nearly 20% of its stake out of the key Russian state oil company, Rosneft. Does the White House know if it expects any similar type of major moves from other American companies?
Yeah, we haven't heard that yet. We've pressed the White House on this. They actually referred us back to other companies. I think they wouldn't be surprised. We've seen a real piling on in the last few days. U.S. governors in New Hampshire, Ohio, Utah taking their own stance. Things like pulling Russian vodka from the shelves. I think there's increasing political and economic pressure right now. Obviously, that move from BP that you're mentioning is huge with unbelievable economic repercussions for the oil industry. But I think right now we're at this moment where not only politicians, but CEOs and board members are feeling like it is not viable to be doing business with the Russian government or major Russian entities.
All right, Mary Alice Parks, Aaron Katursky, thank you both so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.